anyone that would be telling you that this is a day that you could have killed it, that you could have burnt down the house with all these profits this morning session, no. The only way you could have made money is if you would have been chasing price. And this would have been a textbook example of when not to chase price, because it could just as well come back 20, 30 handles on you in breakneck speed. So part of this approach to teaching you, it's meant to obviously steer you away from things that will hurt you. These things have hurt me in the past. When I didn't have someone that would help guide me, warn me that these potential pitfalls were just in the offing, the next trading session, the next trading day. When are these likely to occur? I thought our model looks for medium and high impact news events. Well, there are certain events on the economic calendar that are, yes, red or orange, and they would be dubbed as a medium or high impact news driver. But not all high or medium impact news drivers are equal. Some of them, for instance, non-farm payroll. That's a high impact news driver. Do we trade that? No. CPI number, I like to trade that after it hits. Like after the market hits, then if I can find an ideal scenario to enter, then I'll do it. Today, it was giving me no quarter, no chance whatsoever. And it did an entire month's range or more in minutes. So I mentioned this in passing multiple times when I talk about missing moves and such. Now, I don't care about missing this move personally, but seeing comments on TradingView, because there's a way for people to like send me direct messages, and I ignore them predominantly, but there's a lot of them saying, did I get this move? Was I able to capture this move today? Did I do this? Did I do that? And I can imagine by me answering them individually, number one, it would feel cool because it's like a direct response rate from me, like I'm a celebrity, which I'm not. And that likely would make them feel like they should have been doing something with a day like this. And it's simply not the case. Like you can see on your chart, if you're looking at it now, it looks like it would have been a wonderful opportunity to obviously be in there going short near the high. After all, it traded up into a bearish order block on the daily chart. It gave it a real, let me see if I can put my water bottle down here without spilling it. It gave an ideal entry that would be classic by definition, but you'd be fooling yourself with false hope, because the chart reflects what has already happened, but you cannot go back in time and assume for a moment with any bit of confidence that you would have been filled, because there's no way. Look at the recording I had this morning. I shared it right on Twitter. Like that was me sitting there. That was me outlining the actual order block. It was me actually taking my cursor, showing my son, this is what it's going to do. It's going to hit that order block and then trade down. And I had a small little fair value gap that I was waiting to see if it would give me a little bit of a pop in there, give me a retracement up, and then I'd look for a short. I did not want to short it as it hit the bearish order block. I wanted to see the reaction trading down to that fair value gap, and then between that fair value gap and the order block, I would have been looking for a fair value gap to form in there, and I would have shorted that. Should it had presented it, and it didn't, obviously. Too fast, and I knew right away, like it's done. I turned to my son, his eyes were like bugged out, like what in the world? It happens like that sometimes. You're going to miss it. And there's simply nothing you can do to justify a low risk, high probability entry. It's just, you simply can't do it, folks. And you can be in one of two camps. One, you can be irritated, mad, frustrated that, damn it, this system's supposed to give me a setup. I can see it in the chart, so therefore I should be able to do it. Or we can say, you know what? There's going to be days like this. It's going to be days like this where you just simply can't be a part of it. And it might move a lot. But I want you to take a step back. If that's what you're thinking, that you had to be in this move or it was a failure, you're never going to amount to anything as a trader, I want you to think about it. When this day started, you didn't have a trade on. You were looking to put a trade on. Now the day has passed. We're looking at it from a hindsight perspective. And if you'd listened to me, you didn't have a trade on still. You did not take a loss. You did not feel any of the anxiety that anybody would have felt today getting into moves after it's already moved a great deal. Anyone selling short after an initial drop of 50 or 60 handles, if you think for a moment that they can sit there and justify how they felt confident, self-assured, how it would not likely run back up that drop, at least partially, they'd be lying. They would be lying to you and giving you false hope. And one of the things I like to do is be blunt. Absolutely blunt. And I don't care if it turns off some of the people that come here with this hotshot mentality that you're going to come in here like a Cracker Jack and it's all going to fire for you because you sat down and wanted to learn this. You're going to be the one. They're the exception to all the rules, and you're not. I knew that it was likely to do what it was doing today before CPI hit. I sat there with my son. I sat there and recorded it. Everything in that chart is real time. There's absolutely no market replay. There is no delay. There is absolutely nothing but real time expectations. And it was just simply too fast. And I have nothing in my arsenal that could have put me in that trade. As soon as the market hit the CPI number, bang, it was gone. That's it. Train has left the building without me on it. And that's okay, because my experience doing this, I can afford to have these big runs leave without me. I can afford not to trade the afternoon, even though I know that there's a likelihood of me capturing something. If I come back to you and say, here's what I did, I don't want that to be seen as, oh, he needs to be able to show he did something else. He couldn't get the move in the morning, so he had to do something else to justify his ego or his aptitude as a teacher, trader, whatever. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to just simply stay out. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm going to let it do what it wants to do. And in fact, it went further than I expected on the day. Way further than I expected. So, yes, I had the right idea going in. Yes, I had the level to key off of. Yes, it reacted exactly how I wanted to see it react, except for present the entry technique that I was looking for. So all things up to that point were there. They had the right ingredients. Bias was correct. Everything was setting up a likelihood of a wonderful opportunity for me to shine. But admittedly, had I got in, let's say I would have put a short on. Let's say I would have taken, half of the daily range. Okay, maybe I would have taken, maybe a little less than half the daily range. If you would have watched me do that, and if I would have came to you with that example, recording the whole thing like I do all my examples, how would that have made you feel today? Some of you would be like, oh, high five, ICT, you're this and you're that. Others would feel like, wow, I'm going to try to do that same thing next time. And that's absolutely not what I want you to be doing. Certain reports, CPI, non-farm payroll, FOMC. You simply just can't stand in front of them. Like, you can't do it, folks. Okay, and I'm going to just be blunt with you. You want to be lied to? There's a lot of other people out there who's going to lie to you. You want to be told that you can do everything all the time, and just because the market's moving around, you just go in there and do it? Well, you're welcome to go out there and have your face ripped off. But I'm not trying to create gamblers. I'm not trying to create the idea in your mind that you should be able to think every single trade out there is something you can be a participant in, because there is not a opportunity in every swing. Sometimes the market's going to take off and you'll expect it to be doing the very thing you see it unfolding on your chart, but you can't get on it. That's okay. No problem. There's many times when I was growing up, I watched folks that would ride on MTA, mass transit, and sometimes they would get to the bus stop a little late, and the bus would just start taking off. Now, I know that bus driver saw these folks, but human nature being what they are, sometimes ignorant, they would just pull off, and they'd be chasing after the bus, waving, hey, hey, hey. They saw them, but they kept going. Well, the market's going to treat you just like that. It doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't owe you your entry just because you want it to be there. And you certainly don't want to be chasing after it, because it's not going to get you where you want to go. The folks that would start chasing after that bus, eventually they would relent and say, oh, well, let me go back and sit and catch the next one. That's the mentality you're supposed to have right now. Don't waste your time chasing. Don't worry about it. That opportunity is going to present itself in the form of another bus at a different pickup time. And you don't have to chase after it. It'll come right to you. Just sit there and wait at the bus stop, and it'll come. That fair value gap, after a run-on stops, a shift in market structure, creates that little fair value gap. That's a bus stop. That's a bus stop. All you got to do is show up and be on time for the next one. Why are you worrying about it? You see that around the world big drop from high north way down deep in the south on that big CPI number today. And you all want to look at that chart and say, man, I wish I would have got in on that. Yeah, I wish I would have got on it too. I could have made some money today, real good money. But it didn't happen. It didn't present it to me. Look at your chart. It's not there, folks. I read a tweet. Oh yeah, ICT, it was amazing. Your ends really showed up in this morning on the E-mini S&P, and it did not. It didn't. Watch that little vignette of me actually recording real time when that CPI number hit. There's absolutely no way on earth anybody would have gotten filled on that. Now, you could have been filled short before the CPI number. Like a minute right before, you could have got filled on that. And you would have had to weather probably 10, 11 handles of heat initially right away. And then it dropped 30, 40 handles in seconds, folks. In seconds. That type of movement, stop loss orders do not work. They don't work. That means if you have these nutters out there that are telling you this is the greatest day in the world to be trading, this is what we live for. No, these are the days you die on. These are the days that your head can be completely taken off. Cleanly taken off. Because stop loss does not work in a move like it did today. And if your teacher, your mentor, your hero is telling you this is the day that you should be living for as a trader, you have the wrong educator. Because I showed it real time that there's absolutely no way. Once 8:30 happened, no. Nobody's getting on board that. No broker would have filled any of that. Would not have happened. You would have been filled way down if you got filled at all. I know it doesn't taste good. I know it isn't sugary sweet. But this is what you should expect from me. The blunt, bland truth. See, sugarcoating it, that's what people want you to feel and taste when they have something to sell. I'm just giving you the really real, folks. There's nothing on the other side of all this. There's no sales pitch. I don't have anything to buy, sell, rent, nothing. Just logic and 3 decades of it. I warned you yesterday. I said, don't let the CPI number rip your face off. Some of you apparently took that as an invitation. Yeah, I could go for a shave today. And you lost your ass. Then my intent is for you not to endure those types of things. You don't need to endure those things to learn. Isn't it better to be sitting here and say, you know what? Yeah, the market did move a lot today. And yeah, it would have been really nice if I would have been a participant of that and profitably closed out something. But I didn't. And I did not incur any loss. I did not incur any kind of anxiety. No worry. I'm not even regretting getting out too early. There's simply nothing to worry about. No entry, no pattern, no fill. So what's the complaint about? Nothing. There's nothing to complain about. There's no reason for any of you to feel like, oh, man, I missed that big move. Think about, if you're doing that, think about what you're actually saying. This is the only move that's ever going to happen in the marketplace. And you screwed it up. You screwed it up. You put every bit of your future success into one encapsulated moment. One day, the CPI number, and you blew it. You miserable failure. Look what you've done to yourself. You've wrecked your entire career because you couldn't take this one day down. That's what you're doing. That's the equivalent of what you're doing if you think like that. But when you hear it expressed in such a manner, it's silly, isn't it? You're turning one day into a career tragedy. And it's not. It's a missed move. That's all it is. Chalk it up as, well, it would have been great to be a part of it, but it didn't give me anything. So therefore, next. Next what? Next trading opportunity. Next trading day. And if the setup comes, you take it.